Hey, yo, everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review. Do you know what today is? Today is Wednesday, the best day of the week. You know why? Because that means we get our comics today. So today we're going to be talking about my comic load for the week. Now, there's two big titles in particular to talk about this week. First one is Earth 2 because it was revealed by DC Comics that Alan Scott, the Green Lantern of Earth 2, is going to be the character that is going to be turning gay. The second comic that is big this week is Before Watchmen, The Minutemen. So I'll leave Watchmen for last and let's head right into Earth 2, shall we? Uh, so yeah, Earth 2, issue number 2 picks up exactly where issue number 1 leaves off. And we kind of get more of the team in this. We get the introduction to several members. In addition to getting more of Alan Scott, Green Lantern, and Jay Garrick the Flash, we also get two other Justice Society members, if we're calling it the Justice Society. I'm not sure if that's actually going to be what James Robinson calls it. But we get two more of the members in here. One at the very beginning and one at the very end. And I very much like the fact that these members are going to be part of the team. I won't reveal who because I don't want to take too much away from this comic. Which is funny because I did reveal it to my friends and they got mad. But yes, that's the basic gist of this issue. Is it's just kind of introducing more of the members of the team. We also get to see how this Earth has been since Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman have disappeared, since they've died and been casualties of war with Darkseid. We've seen how it's grown and developed and how it's greatly different from the Earth that we have on Earth Prime. Jay Garrick's story is probably the biggest bulk of this, as we actually see him as a Flash. He gets the costume and everything. So let's get into the good, the bad, and whether or not you should get it. Good. Well, I think the first thing people want me to talk about is how I feel about Alan Scott becoming gay, or at least being gay in Earth 2. Uh, I think it's great. I have no problem with it whatsoever. I know some people are kind of irky about it and some people are kind of indifferent. I think it's okay. Actually, some people think it's kind of a cop out because he's not one of the mainstream DC characters. But we're talking about the first Green Lantern here. Alan Scott, the original. He's been here longer than any other Green Lantern. So to make a move like this, I think is very bold. What's going to make it good for me is the fact that James Robinson is going to be handling the character. And if you read an interview on Comic Vine, I recommend you go to Comic Vine. He does an interview where he basically says that, it's going to be an important thing to Alan Scott, but it's not going to be the only thing that makes Alan Scott. Alan Scott's going to be, who he was in an incredible character beforehand. This is just going to be a character trait, which is good. And I think this is a good thing to diversify their comic book characters. A lot of people also brought up, well, what about Jade and Todd? They're not going to be around now. Listen, Alan Scott is 27 in this. He has no kids. If he had kids, they'd be way too young to be superheroes. In addition to that, who's to say that Jade and Todd can't be adopted? This is a completely new Earth. So, yeah, I'm actually really excited for Alan Scott being gay in the new 52 on Earth 2. So, yeah, it's good. Other good thing is we get to see a little bit more of Alan Scott's character. We get to see how he's kind of going to become the leader, how he's very strong and ethic, how he's very dedicated to whatever it is that he does. We get to see a little bit more of Jay Garrick's character. He was kind of the big bulk of this comic when it came down to story, and he gets the costume. And at first the costume was like, if you look at it here, it's like, but it grows on you a little. It's not perfect, but it grows on you. Uh, the thing that bothers me when you read the comic is he looks too skinny for what it is. I know the Flash is supposed to be skinny and fit, but it would be nice to see him a little bit more bulked up. But besides that, it actually starts to grow on you, the costume. And we get to see two other Justice Society members show up, which I'm happy with those characters showing up. I don't want to reveal who they are, but hey, it's awesome to see them. Bad, I can't really say there's too much bad. Maybe the fact that there's this darkness coming, but it's not really overwhelmingly revealed what it is. But it's a mystery set up, so I guess I can let it slide. I can't really think of anything bad. Earth 2, issue number 2, was just as good as issue number 1. So I think I gave the first one a 4.5 out of 5. This deserves a 4.5 out of 5 also. So pick it up. And next we're sticking with a little Earth 2, with Huntress and Power Girl, the world's finest. So they're fighting this radioactive dude. I don't think he actually has a name yet. I could be wrong. You know, the guy shooting the lasers here. And half the comic is them fighting this radioactive dude who could be from Apocalypse because his armor look apocalyptic. How do you yeah, it looks like it's from Apocalypse. And the second bit of the issue is kind of flashbacks to see how they're adjusting to the new world, which is good because I actually like to see these flashbacks and see how they're adjusting to New Earth, or Earth Prime, or Earth One, or whatever we're calling it. I don't think it's called Earth One because it's the Earth One comics. But yeah, we really get to see this big blowout fight. And there's actually a pretty decent fight between Power Girl and Huntress and this guy. Although I wouldn't think this guy would give a Kryptonian too much trouble, especially with a Wayne there helping out. You know what I mean? But it's a good fight. And we get I think really what makes this comic is the background information that we get, which is really good. So I guess on to the good, the bad, and whether or not you should get it. Good is the fight was fun, the background information was fun, the characters feel for the most part in character, and I really do like the relationship that is between these two. Bad is Power Girl's costume still irks me a bit. It doesn't feel right. I don't know what it is, but it just doesn't feel right. You can change a costume at any time, so oh well. Second thing is, well, it's all great that they're fighting Radioactive Man from The Simpsons. Um, I kind of want them to go back to Earth too. I really do. Uh, it's just I don't know. It's an Earth 2 comic, so I kind of want them to go back to Earth 2. I don't know. It feels like this story doesn't really much matter because in the end, all the stories won't matter because when they do get back to Earth 2, that's when it's going to matter. I know that's a silly and stupid way to look at things, but that's just how I feel. So, other than that, this was a pretty good issue. I think it was better than the first issue, so I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5. Pick it up. It was fun. On to Red Lanterns issue number 10. Now, Red Lanterns I've been picking up on the side. I got caught up maybe 3 weeks, not three, 2 weeks ago or something along that lines, maybe 3 weeks ago. And this is basically Red Lanterns crossing over with Stormwatch, and ho 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 ho, what a crossover it is! If you want a big blowout fight between Atrocitus and the Stormwatch team, mainly Midnighter, Apollo, and Martian Manhunter, you're gonna get it here. That's the basic story, is that he's come to Stormwatch to retrieve the Red Lantern ring or to find the source of the impurity in the Red Lantern power battery. He thinks it's one thing, but it's actually another thing. And he goes up against Stormwatch, and boy, is it a blowout fight. And Midnight fights Dexter, and it is the funniest fight there is between a cat and Midnighter. But yeah, good. The fight was great. I liked the art. Atrocitus was depicted, for the most part, very interestingly and well done as an intellectual individual, but someone that thrives off their instincts. And is continuing this interesting story of the impurity or the contamination of the Red Lantern's power battery. Bad. It really doesn't move the plot forward at all, except for with Rancor, who is one of the Red Lantern members. But that's about the only bad. If I had to give this a rating, I would actually give it a 4 out of 5. This was a really good comic. I really did enjoy this. The fight was really good, and it felt very nice. A lot of people give Red Lantern a lot of shit, and I will agree with them. Red Lantern has been the weakest out of the Green Lantern titles, mostly just because it's been slow in hitting its stride. But it's actually starting to hit its stride, and I'm really starting to enjoy it. So yeah, Red Lanterns issue number 10, a 4 out of 5. Stormwatch issue number 10. So this isn't crossing over with Red Lanterns, but this is more or less Stormwatch kind of just going around and doing stuff, picking up rare artifacts and fighting monsters. There's really no big story in this. They kind of scout the Justice League a little, but if I like, I'm sitting here now, I'm thinking, what exactly was the story? They picked up some kind of alien technology device, and they're keeping secrets from people, and Apollo doesn't like the secrets, and yeah, there's really not much of a story here, and I really didn't enjoy it. There was some good interactions between the Stormwatch members, but besides that, the story really wasn't that good, which is kind of interesting because Stormwatch has been pretty much consistently good lately, but I really did not enjoy this issue. So 2.5 out of 5. It just really it felt like nothing happened. Uh, and there was some good stuff. The interaction between Midnighter and Jenny, and then Midnighter and Apollo, good. But yeah, it just didn't feel like there was too much stuff. Next is Swamp Thing issue number 10. So, um, what's his name? Anton Arcane, shows up. He's this dude right here with a skin problem. And he's basically hunting down Abigail and also Alec Holland. And he wants to, you know what? Kill them. Alec is still weak, and Abigail's trying to help him out. And it's really more her comic with this issue than it is Alec, because Alec is recovering during this issue. But it's really kind of setting up this guy as the main bad guy of the series or the main threat of the series. And he does something drastic to Swamp Thing, which could not pan out. So it's kind of interesting where this comic is going when it comes down to that. Good. The writing was really good. The art, especially with the scenes where he is talking to someone you don't know who, and at the end, what he does is to this person. The relationship between Abigail and Alec is really interesting in a monster kind of way. Um, I don't know how to describe it, but this beautiful woman with this mysterious evil power that she's barely able to control is in love with the prime elemental forces of nature. It sounds like it wouldn't make sense, but it's actually kind of cool. So that works out. Bad, nothing really bad here. Just it's a solid Swamp Thing issue. So 4 out of 5. Okay, on to Animal Man issue number 10. Animal Man issue number 10 is picking up with Animal Man in the red, trying to get to the big red Council of Doom, whatever they call themselves, and trying to get sent back to his body. But because his body is inhabited by someone else, they have a different solution for him. A kind of an interesting, drastic solution. While this is going on, the Justice League Dark, John Constantine, or Constantine, and Constant 2, or Constant Who, and Zatanna and Madame Xandu are trying to convince Buddy Baker's wife that she is going to be, or her inaction is going to be the cause of the fall of the earth. So she needs to get her shit together. Of course, she doesn't believe them, and she does something stupid for a parent when it comes down to her children at the very end. So it kind of actually leaves off on a good cliffhanger and an interesting note. I will also give this a 4 out of 5. Kind of just breezing through them real quickly. Don't want to spend too long on them. But next we have Green Arrow issue number 10. I'm not even going to bother with this. Um, Basically, Green Arrow. The story has an interesting concept, whereas these people are um, changing themselves with robotic parts, and some of them are altering their memories so they see their childhood differently. But it has drastic repercussions on the individuals. Green Arrow has to go take care of it. The thing is that it just is not handled well. It's not presented well, and I was just bored during it. 2 out of 5. Green Arrow, you're just not doing well in this new 52. Sure, you're not a womanizing jackass, but your comic's just not written well. They should just get Kevin Smith on this comic again, or Judd Winnick or something. Next, we are going to do. Let me just get this little speck of paper out of there. Batwing, issue number 10. So Batwing goes up against the Jackals, but this isn't the only people that Batwing goes up against. There's a mysterious individual pulling the strings for the Jackals. How should I say, a Batman villain, a member of the Gotham crime syndicate. You know, someone that has a lot of power in Gotham that's evil is pulling the strings of the Jackals and a lot of other bad stuff in Africa, where Batwing is stationed. Batwing teams up with Batman and Robin to a point, but more or less teams up with Nightwing. And we also get to see some drastic things happen to the Batwing team, or at least one member of the Batwing team. Good. The art is great in this. The team up was nice with Nightwing, and the action was pretty good. I especially liked all the different strategies that Batwing uses. And it was also good to see the character outside the costume and interacting with people there. Bad, nothing really. Good issue. I enjoyed myself. 3.5 out of 5. Pick it up. Batwing has been consistently good. Now we are moving on to Detective Comics. Detective Comics is basically Batman dealing with a bunch of Batman imposters. Now, these Batman imposters are going around and trying to get a special package and deliver it to someone. And that's basically the bulk of the story. There's some stuff that goes on with Charlotte Rivers, and basically she wants to leave because of what happened with her sister. Some touching stuff. And I guess we can go right into the good, the bad, and whether or not you should get it. Good is the stuff with Miss Rivers is pretty nice. The fight scene between Batman and his imposters is pretty good, and the cliffhanger in this is pretty good also. The bad is the story just doesn't feel like. I mean, it was a little boring, just a little. And the art felt a little off, which is interesting because it says pencilers Ed Benz, but it doesn't look like Ed Benz art. It looks like a weird mix between Ed Benz and Tony Daniels. Maybe it's the colorers, maybe it's the pencilers or the inkers, not the pencilers, but the inkers. But the art seemed a little off. It just didn't seem like Ed Ben's art. It wasn't bad by any means. It was good. I just felt a little off. On a whole, I'll give this a 3 out of 5. Okay issue. It just doesn't feel important. It sounds weird, but it just doesn't feel important. Action Comics issue number 10. So we're done with Earth 22 or 23's Superman that is president. We're done with his origin stuff, and we're going to finally get Superman kind of getting into the modern day, or at least we thought we were. Um, what's happening in this issue? What's happening in Action Comics? Grant Morrison is jumping around all over the place. It feels like the last issue of Final Crisis. I don't know what place things go in. And you know what bothers? I'm going to rant a little. Can I rant a little? Is that okay? I don't like to rant, but I'll rant a little. You know what bothers the living poo poo out of me? Is the fact that they are getting Superman so wrong. You can have Superman feel like he's alone. You can have him feel like he's the only alien on Earth. That's fine, I understand. But when you turn him into a sappy little emo, it bothers me. That's not Superman. He doesn't go, "Oh, my cape is too short. Oh, Justice League, when are we gonna go save the people over there and invade other nations? Oh, Lois, I don't know what I'm going to do." It's just like he's moaning about everything. Like, example, he complains to the Justice League why they're not going over and causing international stuff over there and, stopping people hunger from over there. One thing is that Superman has always had, as a rule, that never to interfere in political or world events. It's take on supervillains, take on criminals, and take on aliens. It's something he's always had, and it's a rule because you cannot do that stuff. You turn into a god complex. It's like the authority. If you take too much control in your hands, it's bad. And the fact that Superman even contemplates it is just against Superman. What are you guys doing? Mm, The story is also just so bad and choppy. Ooh, really didn't like this issue. Oh, it's like yeah, it was bad. It was bad. 2 out of 5. I almost gave that a 1 out of 5, but it did have one or two good moments in it. But still, ugh, what are you guys doing? Justice League International issue number 10. We're coming to the close of the Justice League. We have only 2 issues left, and then the annual, which is interesting. They're canceling the series, but they're pulling out the annual. Hey, whatever. DC just wants our money. It's cool. Um, Basically, it's the Justice League versus Breakdown and his team, and it's actually a pretty interesting fight. We also get to see a little bit more of the team interaction and a little downtime with the team too, and how Batwing goes to check on Vixen, Booster checks on Fire, and Guy Gardner checks on Ice, which is very touching from all three of them. It's interesting where this comic is going, and I'm actually liking the villain, the breakdown, and what they're doing with the whole terrorist thing. It's actually a pretty good, fun, interesting story. Bad, not really. Actually, this has been one of the better issues in a while. It baffles me why. I mean, I know why they're canceling this, but it's a good enough series. It's not like it's horrible. It's a good series, and it's fun. It's enjoyable. Uh, so I'll give this a 3.5 out of 5. It's a good series. Good issue. Enjoyed it. I especially liked it from the position of uh, General and Irons. August the General and Iron. So yes. And last but not least, Before Watchmen, Minutemen, issue number 106. Now, when it came down to the Before Watchmen, I said I was going to get, at the very minimum, and possibly maximum, two. And that would be Before Watchmen and then Ozymandias. The reason why I'm getting Before Watchmen is because of Darwin Cook. It's set in the past, so it's going to have kind of a Golden Age feel to it. And Darwin Cook's art is just beautiful with Golden Age stuff. The reason why I'm getting Ozymandias is because Ozymandias was my favorite character from the comic. There might be a chance of me getting Night Owl, but I don't know. We'll see. So basically, this issue is the Minutemen and their characters told from the perspective of the Night Owl, the first Night Owl. And he goes through bit by bit each character, where they come from, their motivation, how they kind of got into the superhero biz, and how they all kind of come together in a way. And he goes through each and every single one of them, all their faults and their strengths, and if it runs very fluently and nice. And he does it in chronological order, so it starts with Hooded Justice, and it kind of goes through the Minutemen team. Good. The structure of the story is nice. It flowed beautifully. The art was gorgeous. And the feel, the kind of that golden age feel was great. Bad. It might have been too wordy at some points, but the dialogue was never bad. It's just sometimes there was a lot of dialogue in one place, but that's about it. Um, if you're skeptical of the Before Watchmen material, don't be. At least not with Minutemen, because Minutemen really did impress me. 4.5 out of 5. This was everything I wanted from the comic. So they didn't really do anything wrong here. They did a very good job. Especially if you like that Golden Age feel, get the Minutemen, because it was really fun, really good. You also get a backup story that pertains to the curse of the I don't know, the Captain Janeway, some kind of random curse. So yes, that is my comics for the week. Pretty good week. Very solid, with the exception of Action Comics and Green Arrow. Everything was, for the most part, good. So I'm going to end this video here. This is Andrew saying peace out for now.